Right, cheers.
3, 2, 1.
Cheers,
Shot
Baseman.
time.
Cheers.
Tequila time.
Cheers. You and your nasty tequila. Oh.
I mean, it's warm, but it is real warm.
It's warm.
Next time, shake that over ice, bud.
Ooh.
Bro, it's so gross. Okay.
Ooh, that Sprite, though, was
refreshing at the end, isn't it?
bubbles in my throat.
Hold on. I literally want to do
throat.
the intro, but it's actually a little hard to breathe because it's caught up in my chest.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that.
I just snorted.
The funny thing about G-Rex is when she laughs really hard, it's quiet in the audio, but we can see her laughing, but our audience can't hear her, so it's sometimes funny. All right, we'll get professional now.
Yeah, we're so professional.
I feel like we got in trouble. The producer left the room and closed the door, and I feel like I've done something wrong with my tequila shot. All right, ready? Oh, this is even more awkward. Bro, that is a bad angle, dude. Real bad angle. Yeah, there.
Chin up?
Yeah. Chin up, producer.
So I can see your balls.
So what was his name? Bizzle?
Bizzle. So we've got
Bizzle, I see your
G-Rex,
balls.
Dirty
Bizzle
Skittles, Baseman. I have to remember to say Baseman. And Bizzle. Okay. On this week's episode of Shit That Goes On in Our Heads, we are joined today by Baseman. Baseman is going to talk a little bit about his personal struggles with ADHD, and G-Rex and I will try to find humor in your pain, Baseman.
Thank you.
Do you want to maybe, I don't know, give a little intro, tell people a little bit about yourself?
A little bit about me. Let's see. I'm a father. I'm friends with your producer. What else? I play music. I am currently unemployed, if that is worth sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just got laid off a little while ago. So taking the time to spend time with my son and also doing some coursework, like online courses and stuff to kind of better myself, make myself more, ready to get back out there. So
Nice.
It's actually been a blessing in disguise in that regard.
That's actually pretty close to home right now, the layoffs. We work in a company that just went through a round of layoffs, and so some of our friends were directly affected, so we know a couple of people that are out there that may find this episode because of that pretty interesting to hear somebody on the other side of it all. But so that's cool. So you're taking time now, blessing in disguise, bettering yourself for what's next. Do you have anything on the horizon that you're thinking, oh, maybe I'll try something completely new, or do you think you'll kind of keep going down the path you were on?
Well, I had already made a career switch like the year before. Like I had been doing the grind for like 15 years, doing like retail management, all that jazz. And then finally decided, life circumstances and stuff, it wasn't working for me and I wanted to do something better. So your producer helped me transition into a software job. And so that was amazing. And then I did that for a little over a year and then the layoff came. And so now I'm still new to the field. So I definitely could use more education. So that's what I'm taking care of now.
Nice.
Yeah.
God love you for doing retail management, because that's just as bad as being in the food industry. That is tough work.
Yeah.
Really tough work.
And you did it for 15 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you didn't punch anybody in the face?
I got punched one time.
You did not? Are you serious?
Yeah, no.
Did you really? I can't tell.
No, I'm serious. Yeah, no, there was somebody I was managing a convenience store at one point, and this guy was like picking up 4 cases of beer and just walking out, and I was like, "Hey, man, you gonna pay for that?" and he threw them on the ground and came at me.
Whoa.
And he decked me, and then the like I was able to like back away. I'm not really a fighter. I'm kind of a wuss, but I'm a pacifist. But yeah, I backed away, and then my coworkers at that point came in, and like he ran out the store, and they actually ended up catching him a couple minutes later. The police caught him because the people he was riding with, they stalled their car. They had stolen a brand new Mustang from somebody the night before, and they were driving a stolen car, and it was like a car full of people who were like high on drugs and out on a joyride that day. So
wow,
That's crazy.
yeah, I guess maybe I got lucky. I don't know.
I mean,
Way lucky.
Yeah, I guess depending on which end you want to look at.
Yeah.
As you were telling me that story, I just watched Superbad, and all I could see was the scene where McLovin goes to buy the beer, and the robber comes in and just decks him in the face, and then the cops keep rewatching the surveillance footage.
I haven't seen that, but that sounds like what happened.
I feel bad. All right, so you did that for 15 years.
Yeah.
A grind every day, and then you switched.
Yeah, I was like managing convenience stores. At one point I was working for Whole Foods. I managed like the front end of a Whole Foods for a while, and then I was working in auto parts for like 7 years, and it was all retail and like grocery and retail. Like then I switched for the better, working remote and mostly, and I complete change from what I was used to. You know, I'm used to working like 50 to 70 hours a week, and then, you know, having to fill in for people constantly, and complete change of pace. It was amazing.
Yeah. But you liked it. You thrived off of it, or did you find it?
No. I thrived off it. It was so good. The difference was like night and day. You know, it was like 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. When you're working the retail stuff, it's 7 days a week, and hard to have like a full life with that schedule and those commitments.
Yeah.
Just kind of becomes your life, gets in your headspace.
It does. After the show, if you want to connect with me, I have thousands of connections on LinkedIn, and I could potentially help you get a job.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, that would be incredible.
She does. She's like the mayor of
our
little industry.
Okay. My goodness.
I know a ton of people.
No, that's sweet. Yeah, I appreciate it.
So I know you on a personal side, maybe not as well as our producer, but it's one of the things that I've heard is that you struggle a little bit with ADHD. So whatever you're comfortable talking about, I'm curious.
I think a little bit is understating.
Oh, okay. You struggle a lot with. I'm just kidding, but I feel like I'm curious how transitioning from that one workforce into maybe a little bit of a different paced workforce, if you had any issues with that.
In terms of ADHD?
Yeah.
No, because it was like I had clear tasks in the new career here, and like we had kind of like a nice schedule going, and you know, I was interacting with people throughout the day, so I don't know, with ADHD, like it's, for me, like it was being on my own and having like a laundry list of things to like, especially being in management, like being on top of that, I had to develop a lot of like coping mechanisms over the years to like kind of like counteract what my mind wants to do, get distracted, and like not, it's about forgetting stuff and like losing sense of the moment, and like where that internal like schedule and protocol process of the day is going.
You can edit this part out. I'm going to probably ask you a lot of questions. I'm actually genuinely interested in this, and I don't know much about it.
Okay.
So if it's like too far, just be like, yo, I don't know.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
We can say whatever. Yeah.
So coming from somebody who may not know that much, or maybe I just know kind of what I see in movies of ADHD, can you tell me like actually what it's like for you? Like,
yeah, no, I'll get like I said, distracted. That's like a core part of it, but like it's I literally having like a train of thought and focus throughout the day and like is very difficult. Like without taking things like supplements for like B12 or like, you know, I at one point I was trying out different like medications like Adderall and stuff like that, and it kind of worked for me, but like there were side effects that I didn't like. And like I would get, I like I said, I play music, and I found that for whatever reason, when I was taking Adderall, I was less creative, and like I couldn't come up with ideas as much. My mind couldn't like do that, and maybe that's the ADHD that lets me do that. I don't know, like going all over the place. But yeah, I'm kind of like, even now I'm losing my train of thought. What were we talking?
No, you're totally fine. I'm curious, you mentioned something about you developed coping mechanisms in that industry that you were in for 15 years. Like, what kind of things were coping mechanisms for you?
Yeah, so I got in the habit at one, when I started to get better at coping with it, I did that by creating a list. Like, I'd start my day, I'd get into work, and I kind of like assess everything. And I'd get out pen and paper, and I'd just start a whole list of like kind of mapping out what I was going to do that day. So that way I always had that like piece of paper with me, and I just like look down at it and like, okay, are we good with this? We good with that? And that combined with, you know, dealing with whatever came my way throughout the day, it was very helpful. Yeah.
So, Basement, I have a question for you. Were you diagnosed with ADHD as a kid or later in life?
Later in life.
Really?
I was an adult. I was like 18, I think, which is sad because like I probably could have benefited from an earlier diagnosis. No, it definitely affected my schooling. Like I was always pretty decent at getting like good test scores and stuff like that, but like staying on top of homework and like staying focused in class and things like that was always very challenging for me. And like I mean there's other reasons, it's not just the ADHD. Like developing good habits, that's important for kids to be successful, like study habits and work habits, and I didn't have those habits. So yeah, there was this one thing that happened my senior year. I was at risk of not graduating, right? And it was my physics class, and my teacher called me. He asked me to stay after class, and it was like right near the end of the year. And he had this like serious conversation with me, and he's like, "Look, you've been slacking off. You're not." And he showed me my grade. I was basically failing the class. And he's like, here's what I'm gonna do. I see you kicking that little hacky sack around.
Where is this going?
Because I would always like, kick the hacky sack around, foot bag, whatever. And he's like, I'm gonna give you extra credit because you're so good at that thing. But like, it's not gonna be. Professors aren't gonna do this in college. You can't. You're right at the finish line, so I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna do you solid. But you're not gonna get this type of help going forward. Like anything that you're gonna do, you got to actually put in the work. You got to focus. Like he had a whole conversation with me. But yeah, so basically, I only graduated because I was good at hacky sack.
So wait a minute. Let me see. In my mind, I imagine a teacher telling you, "Come in after class to play me hacky sack." Is that what happened?
He didn't ask me to play. He knew I could play. Yeah. He would see me like in the halls and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, the conversation was like, because I can do that.
That's nice.
He just picked whatever reason. Like he just saw that like I struggled.
Yeah.
And so he stepped in and he felt for me for whatever reason, and like he helped me out. So yeah.
Do you still play hacky sack?
To this day.
Really? That's cool. No, I think that's cool.
Yeah. No, I love doing that. Every once in a while. Like it's not like every day, but like, yeah, I always got one around.
Nice. Very cool. Can you play hacky sack to your ex with your little legs?
No, not with my little feet. We cannot play hacky sack, all right? Okay? We don't have very good balance skills.
It's not the
We
size
already
of
know
the
about
foot.
that story.
I tease her all the time because she's like 4'0" and so I just any chance I can get to make a tiny little.
I'm 5
joke.
feet. I do not know where you got the 4
I don't
foot
know. It
nothing.
feels like
it
you're
is
4 feet
5
nothing.
feet. 5. Can you count that high? 5.
Yes.
She was being hyperbolic.
She is. So, Basement, I have another question for you. What do you do for yourself with your ADHD? Do you do like any self care or self love during the day so that you don't get so hard on yourself?
Well, that's a complicated question.
Tell us why.
Well, I'm not so hard on myself usually. I kind of haven't been doing that for a long time, which is good. And because I got, kind of came to terms with what I've got going on, and I stopped, being bothered by it. I don't want to say stop caring, but like stop being bothered by it. And yeah, I that goes back to like when I was younger and like existential stuff. Like I was affected by that and other things. Like I went through a whole period of my like late teens, early 20s where I was like up and down, like existential. I'm sure a lot of people,
Yeah.
you guys probably experience that type of stuff, but like, yeah, the scope of everything and like seeing, other people that you grew up with, being successful, even like that whole high school graduation thing, seeing like other people like graduating with honors and like all that stuff. And then realizing you graduated because you play hacky sack, like,
Nah.
like, no, but like I knew I was smart and I knew I had great qualities and I knew that there was more to the world, and so I don't beat myself up too bad. Yeah.
So when you
Good.
got the diagnosis at 18, was it like oh, this makes sense now moment? Was it freeing at all?
I mean, I had kind of knew that I was gonna get the diagnosis. like it was obvious. Like for years I've been like all over the place, and like there was other stuff in play. Like when I was younger, my parents got divorced, and like so like I was a hyper kid getting into trouble a lot in like elementary school because like when you're a kid you don't know how to cope with those types of stress and that type of stress, and don't know how to make sense of it, going to your dad's house on the weekends and your parents fighting and stuff. So yeah, I dealt with that growing up. Yeah.
Dang, that's a lot. That's deep.
That is very deep.
So what helped you, I guess, sort of not be so hard on yourself? What prompted that change?
Well, I think it was my environment, like growing up around all that. Like you kind of you see it, like you see like the effects of it. Was my own observation, realization, whatever. Like seeing the effects of people getting stressed out and angry. Like my dad's like, oh my god, my dad can be an angry person, and he can be very judgmental. He can be very he's sweet. Like he's got like multiple sides to him, but like he grew up in like the 50s and the 60s. He's kind of an older dad, and he grew up in like upper middle class Midwest, and like he has these values, and he grew up around he had a father that was drinking and stuff and all the other hardships in his life, and so he's his whole personality, he could get angry. And so I realized that like I kept asking why do you guys respond like this? Why do you do this? And people couldn't give me an answer. and so it kind of made me realize that like not everybody, like people don't know what they're doing. Like everybody's just kind of making do. And I realized that at a pretty young age, which is good. And so that kind of like molded my whole outlook on the universe and people, and like not taking people too seriously, but like I'm also respectful and empathetic, and like, but I don't necessarily like take people's words fully to heart, and I don't get angry at people very easily.
Dang, that's growth, because I don't even know that I have gotten to that point where I'm just like, we're all sort of just figuring it out and like giving people the grace to do that.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty.
Do you find that
impressive.
when you're playing music that's a great outlet for you?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, it's like literally I plug in the guitar and I unplug my brain. That's the only way I could put it. like it's like I'm just in a different mode. Like I don't even realize it. Like I'm just like I switch over. So it's nice.
Have you always been into music?
Well, I didn't really start playing music until I was like 11 years old.
What was your first instrument?
The cello.
Oh, the cello.
Wow.
Yes. So I played the cello all through grade school and a little bit into college. So like I played a little bit in the community college and then at the university, and like yeah, it was fun. Yeah, lots of years. I still have it, and now my son's learning how to play.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is a good time. Yeah,
That's awesome. So you get to be
so
creative.
so we got 2 cellos in the house now, and
Nice.
every once in a while we get together and we practice.
That's cool. Dang.
That's really cool. That's such a great instrument to learn how to play too.
It's impressive. I don't play any musical instruments.
Yet.
That's true. I do, however, own a guitar and I own a ukulele.
Just pick one up. Learn. Okay, so when you learn like 3 songs, and then you can say you play the instrument.
Ah.
Just give yourself like some type of goal line. And
Yeah.
okay. And then, because then, if your friends are ever around, be like, hey, you want to hear a song? I can play a song.
It's got to be one of these 3. Anything you want, as long as it's one of these 3.
All right. Well, and I play piano all through from like the time I was 5 until I was about 18.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And now I'm self-teaching myself again. I'm gonna have a lot of time on my hands, so
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Pianos. Yeah. That's like, I feel like if you learn piano, you're kind of like set for music theory and like understanding, intervals and chords and all that good stuff. Yeah. It's very, very educational.
yeah, I wanted to do it because as I'm getting older, I'm getting a little bit more arthritis in my hands. So I wanted to be able to do something with my fingers to keep with the movement, right? So that's what I'm planning on doing.
That's great. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So how many instruments do you play?
Well, play, like I would say 3, like cello, guitar, and bass. Yeah,
Nice.
electric bass. Yeah, I can play an upright bass, but yeah, I'm not that great at it. But having played the cello, get used to not having frets, and having played the bass guitar for so many years too, and the guitar, I get used to like the string intervals on an upright bass. So yeah, I can play it, but
Nice.
yeah.
Cool.
So I have another question. How do you approach learning a new song?
If I could listen to it first, that's awesome. But yeah, because I know when growing up in orchestra, we used to do this thing where we would sight read, which is where you would have a sheet of music put in front of you, piece of music put in front of you that you've never seen before, maybe never heard before, and you get like 1 or 2 minutes to like look at the sheet music, and then you just play. So that was like something we would do to practice, to get familiar with reading sheet music. And but for learning a song, I kind of I like to listen to the song and hear like the whole scope of it, the shape of it, and the rhythm, and like what the different parts are. And like like when I'm listening to music, I do like intense listening. Like I'll just like I'll hear all the different instruments and like start hearing like the different parts. Being in an orchestra helped me out with that too, because like you're hearing the violins, 2 violin sections playing different parts. Then you got the bass, the cello, and then like when we would play with the band kids, like we'd have like a full orchestra, and we'd like I got familiar with like full orchestrations and like all the harmonies and all the it was awesome.
Now, because you have ADHD, does that and this is going to sound stupid and it doesn't mean to be, but do you do any like techniques of like closing your eyes so that you can like really focus on what you're listening to? Or
Yeah, I do that. I close my eyes a lot. Like if it's something simple, I'll have my eyes open. But if there's a lot going on, like I do need to close my eyes, like to listen to all the parts and stuff. And like sometimes it's fun just to listen to music and close your eyes anyway, like because it's like an emotional feeling that you're like, if you're not listening to the technicality of it, like you're just feeling the music. Like I like to do that. So, but as it relates to ADHD and learning music and understanding the parts to a song, yeah, I would do that sometimes with like the different parts.
What has been your biggest lesson learned living with ADHD?
Organization. Yeah, that'll get you very far. Figuring out a way to get organized and habits, drilling habits down. Because then it's like muscle memory, mental memory, whatever you want to call it, like routine. Like if you can self-program those habits and routines, then it kind of counteracts the effects of stuff. Like, and you just get into a routine every day. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you still wake up every day and like make a list of things, or do you have your routine set at this point?
Yeah. No, I make a little list right now. My days lately are pretty straightforward. Like because I get my son ready for school in the mornings, and you know, if we got homework to do that we didn't get done the night before, we gotta spend a little time doing that in the morning and take him to school. And when I get back, you know, there might be chores if I have any, but like then it's, you know, I'm doing this online schooling stuff and reading as well. Like I read books sometimes, and I like science fiction. Yeah.
I need to get into sci-fi. I'm not a sci-fi person. I don't know why. I need to try though.
But going back to closing your eyes, I do that too. So if I'm in a deep conversation, or if I'm trying to get a point across, I have to close my eyes. I visualize what I'm trying to say, and people laugh at me all the time. They're like, "You're closing your eyes," but they don't understand that that's how I can slow my brain down just enough so that I can get out what I need to say, or find that tab that has that information.
Yeah, it's like a fit. It's like you have like it's almost like internally tactile, if that makes sense. Like like you said, like the tab or filing, like you're kind of putting things into focus, lifting the fog, or like creating order out of chaos.
And in my life, there's a lot of chaos. It's going to slow down here pretty soon. But, you know, if I look back, like over the last 15 years, a lot of chaos.
I call my husband choreographed chaos. It's true. Because sometimes he has a hard time picking up a task and completing it all the way through. I don't know that I would call it ADHD, more so I would call it he gets bored really fast. But when he's on, he's on. And that's when I call it choreographed chaos, because it may look like a mess or like he's doing 500 things, but then all of a sudden there's like this beautiful finished product and you're like, how did that come out of all of that? So you're welcome, Bizzle in the living room listening.
So, Basement, can you tell me a little bit about your new band and the songs you're working on?
Oh. Well, I'm pretty much the youngest person.
Oh, really? What's the average age?
I would say 45 to 55. like so it's a bunch of like middle-aged dudes playing music. Yeah, one of them's a doctor, like yeah, so it's the reason this all came about was because one of the guys in the band, the doctor, actually is a father to another boy that's in my son's Boy Scout troop, and that's how we connected. And then we were talking about music and stuff, and he asked if I wanted to, come out and try it out, and I did and had fun. Yeah, we planned it out. We actually went out to this guy's house who had like a studio space, and we did like a whole like rehearsal with like these songs. Yeah, we played a Red Hot Chili Peppers song, and we played Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. We played what else did we play? I don't know, there was another song, but like we're just starting. Like we literally just had one session, but it's fun. It's been like 15 years since I've played with people like that, so I think I needed it.
Nice. You're gonna keep up with it?
Yeah. Talking. Yeah, everybody was very positive about it. Said everybody liked how it was, and we were thinking like maybe in the next over the next 6 to 8 months, like we'll learn like maybe 10 or 15 songs, really good, like get it tight, and maybe play some shows.
That's cool.
So
that would be awesome.
That's the
plan. That would be really awesome.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's kind of exciting for me. But yeah.
Need like help with band names. Pretty sure we can come up with a creative list.
Oh.
Yeah, we
get one of those name generators.
Yeah.
So you guys
yeah, the rapper name generator.
the Wu-Tang name generator.
Yeah.
I love your story though, and I love how open and honest you were about your ADHD and how, music just helps you get out of your headspace, right? And in our day-to-day lives, we all need that. We need that one thing that helps us get out of our headspace and calms the world around us. And I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, this
for
is
being
fun.
vulnerable. We appreciate you. It's okay to be not okay. Just make sure you're talking to someone.